Hello, everybody. It's Mike with Beers and Business Podcasts. Our second, our second one here. This one's a special one because this business owner is an owner of two businesses, and I am representing one of them on my cap. But let's introduce. This is Chad Hopple with Shire Decks and the deck specialist.
Good afternoon.
Oh wait, I just said that wrong.
I used to be the deck
You
specialist.
were, but you
Some
still
people still call
specialize
me
in
that.
decks.
Some people still call me that. But yeah, we specialize in decks, and I do own Shire Decks and that deck store. Appreciate the hat; it does fit well with
The
your
orange,
outfit.
the orange here at DreamWorks.
The gray and the orange, it's like all flowing.
I didn't
I
do that on
actually
purpose.
didn't realize it was my hat until you said something. So that shows how well it blended with
Yeah.
everything.
Well, and so you should be more focused on what people are wearing, because if they're out representing you, you should get free materials next time we need something.
Yeah.
No, but
Which reminds me of Westie's beer distributor in Mechanicsburg, Camp
yes,
Hill. Mechanicsburg. Is that
it's
Camp Hill or Mechanicsburg? Sharmanstown.
it's
It's right on that
either,
line.
yeah, it's either
Yes.
one.
So if you're in that area, they supply beer.
Yes.
They haven't given us any beer, but
No,
maybe
and
they
this
will.
is the second podcast that I've bought beer from them, so I think it might help if I let them know what we're doing, because unless we just send him this video, Mr. Westy himself,
Yeah,
the owner there, it's been around for a long time.
that's true. Mr.
So,
Westie.
Mr. Westy himself.
Is
That's
he the guy on the screen? The
the
guy
little
like
cowboy,
the
right?
cowboy? Yeah,
Yeah.
he
That's
must
funny.
be.
Charlie told me a good story about him before.
Oh,
It's been the same owner for the whole time, I think,
wow.
which is pretty impressive.
That's fairly good, yeah.
So how long have you been in business?
So I have been self-employed for a little over 10 years. Um, Started out doing general contracting. I learned a lot of that from working with my uncle, who was a remodeler, and working with my father, remodeling our own home. I come from a family lineage of roofers, which is something that, I started doing when I was young. And so I have a respect for the roofers that do that now because it's not something I want to do.
No.
But I worked on weekends with my dad doing shingles and a little bit of sheet metal and rubber work, depending on what we were doing. And, as soon as I graduated college, moved out of the house, it was a lot less of helping him on the weekends
Right.
and trying to avoid doing roofing altogether. But yeah, I ended up getting into doing home remodeling. The last person I worked for made me realize that I didn't really like working for people, and I'd rather have people work for me and provide the environment that I like to work in. And I think that's actually helped me a lot over the years because now I have people that enjoy working for me. And I never really consider it you work for me, we work together, kind of situation. Without them, I wouldn't be me, and without me, they wouldn't be them.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
so we did general contracting for a while. One of my employees asked if I had ever done epoxy coatings. I was like, I don't even know what that is. And so he actually taught me. Um, and we started Keystone Epoxy Systems. Him being an employee, me starting that business. And it was kind of cool. That was kind of before everyone was doing it. So
Right.
it was kind of a niche thing. That was tedious work, though, too. Grinding floors is not fun. If you ever have the opportunity, don't do it.
I have a little bit in my past jobs of grinding concrete floors so we could
It's it,
re-pour them,
it,
and it's not really that fun.
not a lot of fun. Leave that to the people that do it. I have some good referrals if you
Right.
ever need
Yep.
someone, right? So you're talking about garage floors, basement floors, countertops, and then commercial sites. Um, but yeah, there always seemed to be a problem with epoxy. I felt like 1 in 4 jobs something went wrong, and the manufacturers never stood behind their product and said it was something we did, even though we did the same process over and over and over
Right.
again.
Right.
It's like, okay, something's obviously wrong at some point. Um, and don't get me wrong, I love the look of epoxy, especially like the metallics. Like those look really cool.
Right.
They're put
Yeah. Of
down
course.
properly. Um, and if you have a basement floor, it works really well because if you ever have water, it's not going to ruin it and all that stuff. So, But I was able to sell that company. I sold that to another concrete company, and part of the deal was that I was going to work for them for not or for they would employ me and buy my company.
Right.
And that lasted about 9 months till I realized again, don't really like working
Yeah.
for people, and
Right. Yeah.
don't necessarily agree with how other people manage things sometimes. Um, and so that set me out on my own again in 2019. That's when I started building decks. Picked up working for myself again, and had a helper, and we just started taking on some odd jobs, but mostly decks.
Right. Okay.
And that kind of rolled into building decks, just decks, like
Right.
focusing solely on decks. So I started that as Chad Hopple deck specialist. Quickly realized that we were evolving, we needed to incorporate, so we became West Shore Decks LLC.
Do
Um,
you have any fun stories about that, or
so
I
fun
mean,
story.
Chad Hopple, deck specialist, had a good ring to it. It's
Yeah,
everybody knew who was doing the work for them at that point. But like
that's
you
true.
said, you need a
And I think as a business owner, if you name something like after yourself, it's harder to sell to someone else in the future. So like if my name's Bob Jones, I don't want to buy Chad Hopple deck specialist.
right.
I want to buy West Shore decks or West Shire decks, or Mechanicsburg deck builders or something like that. Right.
Right.
I don't want to buy someone else's name. Um, but yeah, so West Shore decks actually got paperwork in the mail, cease and desist from another company that most people probably have heard of. Um, that trademarked the term West Shore, which, living in this area, East Shore, West Shore,
Right. Yeah.
you grow up with that. You don't realize that's even something that you can trademark.
Yeah.
But
No,
apparently,
you
turns
can.
out
Yep.
you can. Um, so, with a little bit of legal attorneys going back and forth, my attorney said we could probably beat this in federal court. And I was like, okay, like, how much do you think? He's like, $30,000. And I thought about that for about 2 seconds and was like, we could probably just change one letter.
Yep.
And now we don't have a trademark infringement. So now we are West Shire Decks.
Right.
And it was an easy change. Um, we still do work on the East Shore and West Shore.
Right.
Um,
So now you're not just limited to the one of the shores,
that's right.
and
Yeah.
you're
So we're based here in Dillsburg. We service about an hour away. I have around 25 employees, 4 salesmen, a good admin staff, and then we actually just signed a lease for a location in Maryland. So we're extending our work into Maryland and looking forward to servicing that area
yeah,
too.
yeah. Because I've seen that you've done some work around the beach areas. Or
Uh,
is that just a one-off, or
yeah,
down the road you think you might, or
we
because
are
I've heard
licensed in Maryland and Delaware and Pennsylvania. Our idea was kind of to get into Delaware so that we could work in the winter because obviously it slows down here. People aren't thinking about their decks. The nice thing about Delaware is a lot of rental properties, people aren't renting them in the winter.
Mhm.
Great time to have a project done. Um, Unfortunately, I don't know that if we marketed ourselves well enough down there, and it is 3 to 4 hours away,
right,
so makes it a little more difficult. Whereas in Maryland, we can be down there in 45 minutes. So
right, yeah. So that makes sense. You got to be close to your work going on. If your
yeah,
crews need something, or if you need to show up.
yeah. But we have great vendors too. Obviously, beginning this year, I started that deck store, an opportunity to sell to the public or other contractors, and obviously to myself. But we still have other vendors we work with, and they're great for getting our materials out to our jobs in a timely fashion, and that works well.
Right. Yeah. And so what made you want to start the deck store besides being able to supply yourself and, as you just said, supply others? Is it more convenient having your own
Oh,
materials?
definitely convenient. If we need something, we have it, um, which is always nice. We're well stocked in the things we know we need,
Yep.
which is good. We're stocked in a lot of different lines of products, and anyone that needs anything, honestly, when it comes to any kind of fastener hardware, we can get it. So if it's something, if you're a contractor and watching,
Yep.
you let me know. work
and
something out.
that is in Dillsburg, your deck store,
That deck store
that deck store.
in Dillsburg.
But when you're there, it's this deck store, right?
It's
If
still that deck
still
store
that deck
because I
store.
think there is a this deck. No, there's the deck store.
Oh,
You know,
I think that's future references for business owners. Don't take somebody else's name.
that's right.
That's right. But that deck store,
A deck store is different than this deck store, or the
yes,
deck store,
yeah, they're all different.
or a deck store.
Yep. That could get some people very confused.
Yeah.
But when it comes to decks, what is there products that are better than others? Is there ones that you recommend more, or is it more what the customer wants and price range and stuff like that?
Yeah, there's a combination of all of that. Trex has done a good job of becoming the Kleenex of composite decking. A lot of times people will call and say, I want a Trex deck. And you say, okay, or do you want a Trex deck or do you want a composite deck? And they don't know the difference, which is a great job marketing from Trex, right? You know, if someone calls here, they're probably not going to say, I want a specific shingle unless they're known, right?
Right.
They just
Yep.
say, I need my roof replaced.
Right.
Um, and like shingle manufacturers aren't doing what Trex does in marketing to the buyer.
Right.
But there are lots of different lines of composite decking. We use several, depending on, you know, if a customer specifically says they want Trex, we sell them Trex. We are a TimberTech Platinum installer, so that is primarily what we use. And we now just started selling Moisture Shield, which is a newer product for us. They've been around for a long time. They actually have a diamond defense coating on some of their boards, so it's extremely scratch resistant. That's something that you'll come across on composite or PVC decks is
Okay.
that it can scratch if you put enough pressure into it.
Okay.
Even wood scratches, though. I mean, let's
Right.
be honest.
Yep.
If I
Everything.
take a screwdriver across a piece of pressure treated
Yep.
decking, it's going to scratch.
Right.
But less scratch resistant, cooler temperatures, uh, lots of different cool designs and stuff. So we're looking forward to seeing that on some of our
Right.
decks too.
No, that's it's nice to be able to offer everything and educate people.
Yeah.
I'm sure on what they want. Have you ever thought about putting cornhole boards into a deck?
I have never done that now. Although some people have talked about it
Yep.
once or twice,
Just once or twice.
or
Yes,
20
I had to
times,
throw that in there. I mean,
or immediately when
like
that post came out.
I mean, being in the roofing industry, anything's possible with enough time and money. It
Mhm.
can't be that hard to put a piece of wood in with a hole and then cover it up with another piece. And
Listen, I tell everyone anything is possible with Jesus in a checkbook.
fair enough. Yeah, if you want it done, we can do it.
That's right.
That's the way to do it. And you said you go about an hour radius.
Yeah, right now we don't really go to Lancaster too much. We kind of stay west of Lancaster. We do like the I-81 corridor. Duncannon right now is kind of like our furthest north, and obviously with expanding into Maryland, we're starting to go south into Maryland. We just signed a lease on a location in Moncton, Maryland,
Okay.
which is right off of 83.
Okay. So people always ask us in the roofing, how long does it take me to do a roof? And for us, it's a day.
Mhm.
I don't think you can put up a deck in a day,
We can.
can you? It might not
The
be as
size, it
pretty.
depends on the size.
Yep.
I have built a deck in a day. Obviously a little 10 by 10.
Yep.
And it was low off the ground, so easy to do. But on average, I'd say about a week. Um, the only things that really slow us down are if we're digging a footer and we run into rock or shale. You know, we have a lot of shale in this area. That could take us some more time. And then getting those inspections done because we always get a permit, get our work inspected. We always get a permit when it's required.
Right.
Decks typically in this area, if they're 30 inches or less off the ground, don't require building permit, still require zoning permit. And zoning can be funny, especially when it comes to like impervious coverage, which is a whole debatable thing.
Right. Yep.
They say decks aren't impervious, but I don't know if you've ever stood under a deck in a rainstorm. Water's still dripping down
Yes.
underneath.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, so within a week, typically, on average, I would say.
Yeah.
Some decks take a month. You
right.
know, we
just
just
depends on the size. You don't discriminate from big decks or little decks.
no. I love all decks.
All decks are.
You have a deck to show me, I'll take a look at
Yep.
it. Okay.
And you have what? You have a good slogan that you guys use?
Yeah, actually, it's right here. The old
All right, not over. Put that in front of the.
BDE, Big Deck Energy. Uh, ever since the song came out about energy,
Yep.
uh,
Kind of caught on.
kind of, yeah, play on words. People love the shirts. We have it on all of our work shirts. Uh, we obviously have super comfortable sweatshirts and t-shirts, so people always want them and wear them and take them.
Yep. I
That's
can. I've got a sweatshirt or two that I say I wear because they are comfortable, and the hats are nice too, because they are. Which way do I need to look here? They are DreamWorks orange too,
yeah,
but you have all sorts of different colors you can
yeah. If
get.
anyone's interested, feel free to reach out to me. Um, oftentimes I give them away for free, but if you want to pay for it, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to sell it to you too. But it's good advertising.
Right.
It's obviously recognizable. People say, "Hey, I love your shirt" to
Yeah.
everyone wearing them. So
I haven't. I haven't come across somebody that wasn't thrilled with the whole West Shire decks, Big Deck Energy, the brand, the employees, the workers. Never heard one bad thing, except for maybe the owner. That was a long time ago. But being knowing each other for a long time, we've obviously have grown up. But I can't have anything better to say about West Shire.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and, we pride ourselves on providing the best service, providing the best products, making sure things are done right. You wouldn't believe the amount of times we've gotten calls, people that we gave an estimate to, and then a few months down the road, they're like, "Oh, I have problems," and they want to call us and talk about their problems, which I'm all for. But
Right. You.
obviously, there's a cost to fix stuff, and
Yep.
we'd be happy to fix it. We
You
want to
can.
make sure things are safe.
Your sales guys can be therapists. They can talk about their problems as well as you know give them a quote for replacement of decks or repairs of decks.
Yeah, yeah, and it's what we do.
Yep.
And I wouldn't call an electrician to do my plumbing. I wouldn't call a roofer to do my electrical. Why would you call anyone that's not a deck specialist to come build you a deck?
Yeah, should have looked right in the camera for that. That could have been your next ad on YouTube. But though the reason that you're sitting here is because of networking. Now, I just got into networking a year ago. You know that because you were one of the six people that were at a first beers and business event. A month went by, it dropped to four, and you brought another very powerful networker, Doug Anderson. Might as well say something about him again as we did in the first one. He seems like his name's popping up. He doesn't even need to be on here. But like, what made you decide to like get into networking? Because I know you're in another big networking group, and to take a journey with me into something that isn't really normal, a beers and business networking, or more a business network.
Well, I mean, you have to consider networking is key in business. If you want to, the sound effects are perfect, by the way.
Yeah.
If you want to grow your business, people need to know who you are. Um, you got to get out there. You got to talk to people. Got to meet other business owners. Whether that's going to a networking event or a great example, Lounge 611 in Mechanicsburg. I've met so many business people there that I never met before just going and smoking a cigar. So,
Right. It's just kind of getting out there and being out there, being in front of
oh,
people.
yeah. And I feel like there was this mindset that was set by like the older generations of, I'm a contractor. No one needs to know my pricing. I'll do it myself. Don't ask questions, don't ask for help.
Yep.
And I feel like as a new age, a new society, like there's an enlightenment of who cares? Like,
Yeah.
like you want to know my prices? I'll tell you exactly what my prices are. I have them listed on my website.
Right.
Like there's there's
There-
an openness there.
There's there's no hiding
Yeah,
anymore. It's 2025, so everything is out there.
yeah.
And if people know where your prices are at, or
My
if it
price is my price.
yeah,
That's
if
why
it's if
that's
it's
why you're calling me. You
yeah,
want the best. I'm giving you this price for the
yeah,
best.
And if they're too expensive, they're not going to call you to waste your time. And if they're not expensive enough, hopefully they tell you so you know to raise your prices even some more.
Yeah. And that's what I talked about before in another podcast with some other gentlemen that I met thanks to networking. Uh, it'd be great to be able to talk down and not collude with these other
Yeah,
contractors, but be like, tell me about your pricing. Like, why is it so cheap?
yeah,
Why? What are you looking to do? Are you looking to retire someday? Or are you just looking for a six pack on your way home?
right.
Right?
Yep.
Is that what you want? Um, and so through actually searching and looking for coaching is how I feel like I became a better business owner. I was able to grow my business, and with that, networking. Um, I had a friend, Josh Wilbur, owns Wilbur Plumbing and Heating. He invited me to BNI, which was my first networking gig. Um, BNI was great. Met a lot of great people in that group, including Doug Anderson, who I consider one of my best friends.
Right.
I would have never met Doug if it wasn't for networking. Now I spend a lot of my time with him. We travel together. We do fun stuff. We were just at a concert on Sunday.
Yeah.
Um,
And you go to the cigar shop a lot. Should
we
we make a shout out to Billy here on the podcast?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in Mechanicsburg or not even in Mechanicsburg, you need to go to Lounge 611 in Mechanicsburg on Railroad Avenue, Strawberry Avenue. Especially if you're down there for Jubilee Day. I think they're going to have a cool event on Jubilee Day. So I would check that out. Even if you don't smoke cigars, he's got a whole line of men's products that you can check out too. So it's a really cool place. And he's a great guy. Again, met because of networking prior to him having the cigar lounge, but and his wife Jillian are awesome. Uh, I get another person that loves wearing a Big Deck Energy
Yes.
hoodie is Jillian. Causes a little stir with Billy though because he's disappointed that she's always wearing
Yeah.
the Big Deck Energy stuff,
And
but
not the
not
611.
the six
Well, he
eleven
needs
stuff.
to
But
update his sweatshirt game.
yeah, well, I just need to come up with a good slogan so that people
Yes.
will want it. Like if you want to suck on something long and hard, we got the solution for you.
That would be it. I was going to say if you got them, smoke them, but that's kind of already a given. But what you said is certainly an option.
Yeah, it's
It's
I'm always working on these for
yes,
people.
you're
What
that's what
can
you do in your spare time, right?
what can we do? What can we do? Um, what can we do to promote your business? How do we think of catchy things that people are always like, oh yeah, that's good.
It is, yeah,
But yeah, so now networking, you know, like you said a year ago, which seems crazy.
right,
Time's flown. You came up with this idea, and I thought it was great because it's not like anything else. Um, not many networking groups you can go to, have a beer. At this point, now have a free beer.
right. Yes, thanks to our sponsors, and our sponsors also get to be on this amazing podcast that one of our sponsors asked last night how many people watch it. And I told him at least my parents did, so they at least know about DreamWorks Roofing, and now they're going to know about Westshire.
Yeah,
But that's the whole point is I did this networking group obviously to get my name out, but to help my friends get their name out, be in a more relaxed environment. I don't know if I could do this podcast without a beer in my hand, because it is tough to get in front of a camera, get in front of a group of people, but I feel like I have gotten better. So if you're looking to become a better public speaker, networking events are the way to go. And you can join Beers and Business and have a beer before you stand up and make a fool out of yourself.
yeah, and I
Which,
think that highlights it too. I'm not sure that anyone's doing it like we're doing it. Um, we do have two speakers at every event once a month. Um, and at this point, the speakers now cover our bar tab up to a certain amount, which is awesome. And I think having a few drinks does loosen a lot of people up, gets you talking to people that maybe you wouldn't talk to. And we've been extremely lucky that Troy at Sherman's Creek Inn has given us the room, given us free food, which is amazing. And those guys are doing a great job. And if you want to get food off the menu, their wings are amazing. So
yes. I got their wings last night. I think it's every time we've had an event there, I'm getting wings to go home
Yeah,
because they are good and they are a good price.
it's
They're
it's real good.
real good price
They're
and
real
real
good.
good wings. So here's another commercial, Chad. If you want to give one to Troy, we're just going to start selling this podcast off to everybody we give commercials to.
That's right. So if you're in Shermansdale at any point in time, or within 15 or 20 minutes, head to Sherman's Creek Inn for anything you'd like to have, drinks, food, entertainment. They do have some wild entertainment, though. I don't know if.
Yes, that is some
eh,
wild entertainment, but maybe we should just let Troy do that advertising on that there for him. Great place though, great food.
yeah.
Can't say
No, and it's
anything better.
it's a awesome place. Uh, Never had a bad time. How many times have we been there? Five, six now? Five or
About I
six?
think about that, yeah,
Yeah,
since
been great.
January, I think.
So,
Or so,
well, we
but
kind of outgrew the room, and honestly, kudos to you because I mean, you started it, you kept it going, even though it kind of was stagnant for a minute.
yes,
But now, we're looking at 30 to 40 people every time,
yeah,
and that's a lot. I
it
mean, for
is
any networking thing, that's a
right.
lot. Um, we there's lots of networking opportunities out there, but I think this one in particular is the best. Not
Yes,
just because I'm part of it, but
well,
bec-
it's because I run it. That's
yeah,
why.
that's right.
But I have fallen flat on my face, like I said at the beginning. There was a time which that was we started it in February, April, somewhere around there,
Yeah,
maybe May.
yeah,
6 of us at Moe's. Then we tried to go to Liberty Forge, and you're bringing another powerful networker, and it was me and Charlie Anderson with DreamWorks and Chad and Doug. And I can remember Doug saying, "What the heck am I doing here?"
yeah.
That was a nice way of putting what he said.
Hmm.
And thanks to you and him and everybody else that kind of believed in this process is why there's over 70 members on a Facebook page and we get 30 to 40 people at each event. So
Yeah.
it makes it nice that the speakers have a good crowd to be able to speak to.
And if someone wouldn't have screwed up Facebook and made it a private page, anyone watching could be part of that and see when and where we're having the events.
Well, that would have been
But
my fault
we need a
because we made
public
it
page.
public page. But if we do that, maybe I can talk to Mr. Zach himself about Facebook. That I need to make this a public page, and everybody's okay that it goes from private to public. So if you could help us out in your spare time, I know you don't really do much, but let everybody else run your company. But that would delete everything that we did so far, unless if you want to help redo
Just
every single post.
just change it over.
You can't change it over.
Facebook changed that.
Yep. Can we get that edited? That you
We'd
can.
like Facebook to please change that option. We want to be able to do that. But
But
even better now, beers and podcasting.
yes, that's like I said. That's maybe one reason I felt a little bit more comfortable doing it. I feel a lot more comfortable talking to you than I did with Charlie. Probably for two reasons. One, that was my first podcast, and two, that's my boss, so I had to make sure I did things correctly.
Yeah, you don't want to
Um,
upset the
I
boss.
don't want to upset the guy that signs
He,
my paycheck
he
every
seems
Friday.
like a real hard guy to work for.
He is. He's a no. He's a great, and I try to surround myself with those great people. So if you're watching this and you want to join Beers in Business, make sure you do things the right way. We don't allow people into the group, even though it's a free group and you come and go as you please. But we can make it a private group, but a public page, and
Yeah.
keep you out.
We I agree 100%. And obviously we've had things come and go, people come and go, things we didn't like, rules we had to follow because of other networking groups. But you made it work, and it's
May
working.
work.
And
Yes.
as Andrea, my girlfriend, says, it's her favorite networking thing to go to, and probably the only one that she wants to go
Yeah.
to.
Well, the free food and drink is probably part of that reason, and
She likes the people too.
the people are great.
Yeah, I mean, and you think about a lot of these networking events. It's supposed to be like you pay for a ticket for you or membership for you. With this, you can bring your whole company, anyone that you want to bring. So whether you're one sales guy or you have a sales team, great opportunity. If you're an owner and want to bring your staff, great opportunity. you can't do that with a lot of the things without paying money, especially.
Right. Yeah. A lot of them are you're in a group, you're the only person from Westshire.
Yeah.
I'm in a group, I'm the only one from DreamWorks. But with the beers and business, you can bring your whole team, which is powerful. If you got somebody new that's maybe a little timid to be able to go to a networking group, they can come here, ease on into it. Bring your wife, bring your husband,
Yeah.
bring a friend that's looking for a couple contractors.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that bring their significant other, which is cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, which is kind of cool too, because then if your significant other doesn't usually go to those networking events, now they see what you're doing at these events. I mean, this is different. Obviously, you're drinking probably a little bit more than you would at a
Yep.
normal networking event, but they're seeing how you engage with people,
Yep.
people that remember you, people that you got to introduce yourself to, but like see that aspect of it
Right.
because if you're not a business owner, you're not a salesperson, like which are the two biggest aspects of a business for marketing
Right.
and networking, you don't know. Like if I just had a job where, and I'm not shitting on anyone here, but say I'm a checkout person, I don't know what networking is about
Right.
because my interaction with a person is I'm providing a service and you're leaving.
Right.
I'm not creating a relationship there,
Right. Yep.
right? So if you go and see that, and maybe it inspires you to go into sales or whatever,
Right.
like
Yeah.
because you're like, oh man, I like talking to people, and that's what sales is talking to people, selling yourself, selling the product, selling the company you
Yep.
work for, but that's what it is, creating a relationship.
Right. And I believe at Westshire, you guys are relationship builders.
That's correct. Our
And
salespeople are considered relationship builders because that's what they're doing.
yes.
They're building a relationship with a potential client. And Justin, great example. He has golfed with, he has spent time with people that he didn't even sell to because
Right.
he created a relationship.
Yeah.
He didn't sell a job, but he created a relationship. So,
Yeah. It's if you're not connecting with your clients or your customers, there's probably a good chance they're not going to buy from you.
nope.
So you gotta get a good reaction from your customers. If you're just sitting there going, "Hey, we do decks. We can do it 10 by 12. We can use wood. We could use composite, whatever you want, and here's my product." Instead of being, "Oh, hey, I see you're a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. They haven't been to the Super Bowl in a while, but
I
it
don't,
is what it
I,
is."
s- I still can't count on one hand how many rings the Steelers have, though,
I
because it takes a second hand.
Oh, it does, but I
Yeah.
could count on one hand how many times I've seen an Eagles win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. It's probably an equal amount.
Most likely is. So, but with that,
That's
like we've heard about Westshire, we've heard about networking. What does Chad like to do in his spare time besides work? Because when I asked Charlie that same question, he goes, "I go home and I think about work." But when you're not thinking about work, what do you like to do?
as an entrepreneur, it's hard to turn it off. You're constantly thinking about work. You're constantly thinking about money. Um, because of those, I mean, Doug Anderson says it best: money is the byproduct. But if you're not focused on your money, you don't know your money. You don't have a business. Um, and I think it's hard to shut that off for any business owner. I try to set limits with my employees, like, hey, at this point in time, I am no longer available because I do want to spend time with my family. Um, and my family being my girlfriend and our daughters. We each have a daughter that's 7, which is wild. Um, but being able to be present and spend time with them is important. It's just very hard when you're in a business to be able to give that
To
focus.
be able to
And
shut it off.
yeah, and I do a really good job. I feel like on the weekends, like, nope, we're not talking about business. Um, and I don't want to, like, right, like if we can't get our work done Monday through Friday, we have bigger problems. Like, let's make sure things are done, but
Right.
also nothing good happens afternoon on a Friday. So
Yep.
we knew that from 2 weeks ago. We had a gas line that we didn't know was there afternoon on a Friday,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
You do bad things happen then. Um, so what do I like to do? I'm a man of many hats. I have lots of hobbies. When football season's in, I like to watch the Steelers win. I don't like it when they lose. I prefer not to watch, which makes it hard to watch. Like,
I I wouldn't know here being an Eagles fan these past couple years, but I before the past couple years, I definitely knew what you talked about.
well, I mean, I just shake my head at what they do now. It's like, oh, cool, we're trading our top receiver for two picks, one next year, one the following year. I don't know. I guess someone has a plan.
Yeah,
Someone knows what's going
they
on. It's
they
just not us.
they
And,
they've run a business.
and I wonder if people ever think that way about me. Like,
What are you
why is
doing?
he doing it this way? This is terrible. And I try to have a plan. Sometimes you got to wing it, but I try to have a plan. And does this organization have a plan, or are we just looking for mediocrity? Because that's what they've been doing for several years now. Mediocrity. And I aspire to not be mediocre,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Right. You want to be the best,
Yeah.
and with you owning two companies, the Steelers are only one company. So put your job application in, see if you can help run the team a little bit better. I do have a lot of Steelers friends, and they say the offensive coordinator needs to go.
That's a story as old as time, though.
So
There's always someone to blame.
yes,
You think about it, any business, there's someone to blame. I had a friend who said, there's always the fat, stinky kid, they'd say. You're always going to have a fat, stinky kid. And that's like the one person in your business that no one likes. But if they're gone, there's someone else
yep,
that's going to take their spot. Um, so, okay,
yeah,
off of that, I like
yeah.
to golf. I like to smoke cigars. I enjoy drinking whiskey or bourbon. Um, I like spending time with my family. My girlfriend, we like to take trips around the world or to the beach and to music festivals or concerts. Um, I like to snowboard, uh, which, living in Pennsylvania is hit or miss,
Right. Yep.
but I still try to get out there. Got my daughter out there when she was 3 or 4. So,
I've never snowboarded, and it's probably why I've never broken a bone. So,
yeah,
well,
I mean,
I'll watch
true
it on
story.
TV.
Broke my wrist when I was 16 snowboarding. I went to take my driver's test, took my cast off so that I could rest my hand on the wheel
Yep.
to make it look like I was driving properly. Passed the test, just barely though.
Passed with flying colors.
Barely.
Barely.
Yeah,
Hey,
I almost ran a red light. So,
yeah, that was questionable. It
yeah,
was. It just turned yellow. Right.
it's debatable.
It's debatable, but that's good. We should golf. We should have a beers and business golf outing.
Yeah, I think we could pull it off.
I think we could.
I
And
think
even
you
if
get
it's
Chris Paulman involved. He seems to have a lot of people that like to golf.
he does, and almost everybody I know that's in that group does golf.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they are golfers, but they do golf.
Yeah.
They
I
don't.
mean, it's more of a drinking sport for me,
Yeah.
but I like to go out and do it.
Yeah. So another shout out here is with us both being dads. Chad has introduced Happy Dad to me, and the wild cherry is way better than the lime.
I'm a
So
watermelon fan. I don't know.
I guess
Watermelon.
we're both more of a sweet men,
Sweet.
sweet tasting men.
Sweet. We're not sponsored by Happy Dad,
No,
but I mean, maybe it should be. Switch that camera.
we are sponsored by nobody.
No one. No sponsors.
More or less, I could say DreamWorks Roofing because we are in
Independent.
independent because we are using
We are using
office.
DreamWorks. We greatly appreciate
yes.
the owners, the staff, DreamWorks Roofing. If you need a roof, they're the guys to call in Mechanicsburg, located. What is this? Trindle Road.
Yes.
Trindle Road in Mechanicsburg. If you want to stop in and say hello, they're here.
And we might have some happy dads for you as well.
Hey, stop in, win a prize, get a shirt, get something orange because everything's orange.
Everything is orange. We do have some very comfortable shirts. Do you have comfortable shirts? I know you got tank tops.
Our shirts are, as far as I'm concerned, the most comfortable. I pay for premium products when it comes to clothing because if I don't like wearing it, I don't expect anyone else to wear it.
Fair enough.
and I'm picky when it comes to clothes. If it feels weird, nope.
You don't like it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
got you got to keep people happy with what they're wearing.
Like those shirts where it's like a giant vinyl piece of vinyl that's just stuck to the, and then you wear it and you like sweat and your back, the shirt sticks to your back. Absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I
Worst
I,
thing
I
ever.
got one of those T-shirts, and somebody guided me one of those, and it was cool because it said Beers and Business,
Yeah,
and
I
it
mean,
said DreamWorks Roofing and
we could
Shire
probably
Decks.
frame them, and then that would be cool. But I just don't know about wearing them.
You could probably take a handgun and shoot it, and the bullet wouldn't go through. That's how hard the vinyl is on the front. But it looks cool.
Yeah, it's a cool shirt. I just the vinyl, man.
Yeah. Well,
It's rough.
if there's anybody out there that makes T-shirts and you want to be on the podcast, you don't even need a
All you got
sponsor.
to do is
Just get
sponsor.
all you gotta do is sponsor and provide
Oh,
T-shirts.
free shirts.
I was gonna do. I was gonna do free
shirts. So you
shirts.
can be on the podcast. That
Yes,
works.
that
That works.
works.
Yeah, yeah. No,
But
that's cool.
more, and they got to be super comfy. So the
Yeah,
bar
they
set
got to
high.
be 100% cotton, or they have to have like that athletic fabric weaved into the cotton.
Ooh, yeah,
That's
like an Under Armour.
yeah, like
You got an Under Armour.
Under
Yep.
Armour.
This is probably a Gildan sweatshirt, but
This is probably my favorite polo. I only have a couple of them, hoping to get some more, but they are extremely comfortable.
they're comfortable.
I will
and,
golf in this. I will
and breathable.
do everything in
summer.
this. Under Armour. They don't do this color anymore. Sorry, Under Armour. I don't know. Yeah, this one's for Under Armour.
Yep. We are going to Nike. Just kidding. Whatever's out there and feels
Titleist if
comfortable.
they sign us
Yep.
first. I don't know.
Yeah,
What?
whoever wants to throw money at us, it could be a
Yeah.
couple bucks
Yeah, it's
off a
fine.
shirt here and there.
Adidas,
Adidas, Reebok, Puma.
Puma, yeah,
Puma's
Cobra,
coming to make it a.
Cobra. It's a golf company.
Okay.
Yeah.
I golf, but I don't golf enough to know brands.
Yeah.
So with the last name of being Watson, I should be a better golfer, but not everybody can be a pro.
That's true.
So I'm looking at the time here. We have 42 minutes that we are at.
How long do you want this thing to go for?
It doesn't really matter. It could have been 20 minutes, and you could have told me to shut up and had another.
How long do you
another
think people have been listening?
3 minutes.
Yeah. Do you think they made
wait,
it this
how
far?
long's a TikTok or Instagram video? 30 seconds?
Yeah,
That's people's attention span these
That's-
days.
that's it. So you got to break this down now into
Break it
good
down
seconds.
in a little,
Yeah.
little 30 seconds. Charlie and I, for some reason, talked for an hour.
Yeah, for some reason.
I don't.
Did I
you-
listen to your podcast? I think I listened to the majority of
Did
it.
you?
It's hard for me to listen to a podcast because it's usually broken up when I'm driving.
Mhm.
I'll start listening and then kick in to another person, and it goes on and on and on. But
What's
No,
the
it's-
chances you're gonna continue, or you're gonna watch this one, or don't you watch?
oh,
what you're on?
1,000%.
You're gonna put
Yeah,
this.
add it to my playlist
burn,
of.
burn it on a CD and everything.
I have a playlist. I have a playlist of podcasts I've been on,
Okay.
so this will go right into that.
Right into that, probably top of the line.
And I'm gonna make everyone I know listen to it, whether they
Yes.
like it or not.
I'm gonna post it everywhere. I'm going to go to department stores in see, that'll be almost winter, right after Thanksgiving, because everybody hates hearing Christmas music
And you're just gonna play
before Thanksgiving.
podcasts.
It's gonna be the Beers and Business podcast on repeat.
Yeah.
So you don't have to listen to Christmas music after Halloween. You can wait till Thanksgiving.
No, it's a great opportunity to learn about my business, hear about some other businesses, and learn about beers and business,
Right.
which is the most important thing.
yeah, beers and business and beers.
Mhm.
And what I like about both podcasts so far is we've brought up other businesses. It hasn't just been about you, hasn't just been about me. We are all out to make money. There's plenty of roofs to go around for everybody. There's plenty of people that need decks.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you think I had a great question though with the solar guy? Like, what happens if the sun goes out? No one ever talks about that. What
No.
happens if the sun goes out? I mean,
It'll
I
be
imagine
dark.
we die.
we die.
We
but,
die.
I mean, we probably have some time.
What
Right.
happens if a giant? I don't know. I don't know.
Now we're just trying to see if we can get to an hour by talking about what happens if the sun goes out.
Well, we're talking about our most recent sponsors there at Beers and Business. We had Devin with Ethical Energy and Chad Noggle, who also is a good friend of mine, who owns like 20 different businesses, but he
Yeah.
decided to talk about his LifeLock esque business, My Identity First, which is a big sponsor of the Harrisburg Air Show. And if you're watching and you don't know about it, it's Memorial Day weekend in Harrisburg. I recommend you go and check it out.
Yes.
Um,
Let's just hope that the DreamWorks team here of Charlie Anderson can get this edited before that show comes out. So we're not talking about a past show. But that's gonna be great. It's the Blue Angels, the first time in like 30 some years that they're
yeah,
coming out or
first
something.
time in a long time that they've even had a air show in Harrisburg. If you live on the river, you didn't hear this from me, but you could probably just go on the river and watch the
Yeah.
show. Uh, I may or may not be doing that. Don't listen. Um,
Well, weren't you were gonna be fishing or something, right?
yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
had a fishing trip planned that day on the
Yep.
Susquehanna.
Yep.
Um, but no, I think it's going to be great. From my understanding, there are very limited tickets left, which means it's going to be a great showing. Um, I did have the opportunity to go out and see one of those airplanes and meet the pilots, which was really cool. Um, we were hoping to sponsor this year, but we had some issues with who we were going to sponsor it with, and so we kind of
Yep.
had to put that on the bottom burner right now. Back burner, I say. Uh,
Not the plane burner,
yeah,
but the back burner.
but I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be really
Yeah.
cool.
I'm going. I'm excited. I'm gonna bring my two little boys.
Yeah,
Hopefully they last enough time that we can see some of the show. But
yeah.
it's part of being a dad and
I mean,
going.
I had the opportunity last year to see the air show in Ocean City, which was my first time actually seeing it. And I was blown away. I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Like
Back
you
to being
didn't
a little
you
kid, being
didn't
like, this is
yeah,
cool. Look at those airplanes.
you didn't originally like when I was invited, I was like, maybe. But then I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah. So go.
Yeah. Go. There's your
Go.
invite.
Be
Just go.
there.
Be there or be square. Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to say is just that the amount of friends and new people that I've met through networking. If you even if you don't want to network your business as much, go meet some new friends. I have met so many cool, fun, interesting, good people
Yeah.
through networking that whether we're not talking about business, we're talking about other things. And it's been not that I need more friends to kind of remember, but it has been nice to meet some really cool, good people through it.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be beers and business, even though we want you to come. Um, Network, up your game is what I always say. I'm a grow or die person, but up your game, and up in your game means networking with people you don't know. You never know who you're going to kick it off with. You never know who you're going to end up golfing with, or
Yeah.
drinking with, or just hanging out with, or I have lots of friends that if it wasn't for network, I wouldn't have,
Right?
and
Yeah.
that's a huge thing.
Yeah. You gotta if you're gonna network the right way, you gotta find people that you like so you can recommend
You
them to
know
people.
who doesn't network? Losers. Okay?
Losers.
And
If you don't network, you're a loser. You probably just sit at
if you want to
home.
hang out with losers all day, don't network.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say,
If you want to hang out with winners who are winning in, I'd say, every aspect of life. If
Yep.
you're out networking, you're doing something right with your business. You're doing something right with your family to allow you to go out networking. Now, your wife or girlfriend or husband might tell you you don't need to go out every night to network. But if you're bringing in the bacon, network.
That's right. Or you'd be like my friend Devinder who used ChatGPT to send his wife an email explaining why he was networking.
Oh, well, I mean, let's
And
be
it did a
honest.
great job.
Yeah, that's
It was a
going
great
to
email.
yeah, that's going to explain it very professionally
Yeah.
and not just hey, I'm out networking with people and there's some beers. It's like I'm going out to beers and business. There's 30 to 40 potential clients.
Mhm.
I get to meet a lot of people. So
Do you believe in me? That's
yeah,
a big
yeah, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Do you want me to succeed in life?
Yeah.
You throw that question out there, and your the
A-
response
And
has to
then
be
they
yes.
come out and hang out and you know,
Yeah,
maybe you get some work out of it.
yeah, that's the main
Maybe
thing.
you get the biggest deal you've ever had out of it.
I think I might be getting one of those.
Yeah,
If not, I'm going to.
I
You got
guarantee.
you got to put the work.
You got to play to win.
You know,
Sometimes you have to win to play.
yep. Sometimes you have to pay to play
That's true too.
and play to win. That's
Yep.
what college sports are doing now, but we won't get into that topic here. But I don't know about you, Chad, but my beer is empty
Yeah.
and the refrigerator isn't in this room.
We're
So
getting dry. It's a sad time.
it
We're
is
gonna
a
have
sad
to
time.
finish this thing up.
Yep, we got the 50 minutes, which is plenty. If it's under 60 minutes, I heard more people watch it. I just had my team text me and they did that research for me here quick.
Excellent.
So
That reminds me that 27% of statistics are made up on the spot.
yes, if it's not working, it's not working. It
That's
works
true.
60% of 100% of the time or something.
Yes.
I might have got that backwards.
It works 100% of the time, 60% of the time.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything works 100% of the time, whether you want it to be that way or not. Everything works out.
That's
It's just
true.
in a good or bad way. So, going to leave the camera on Chad here.
Believe in yourself. If you have a dream, chase it. If you haven't watched my intro video, check out my Facebook page or my business page. You'll get to see why I do what I do. I greatly appreciate you having me on here,
Yes.
and I greatly appreciate the success you've built in this networking group
Thank you.
because it's awesome.
Yes. And the goal is to make everybody money, whether I'm making it or not, because it'll somehow come back to me, I hope.
That's right.
So, all right, let's forget how Charlie told me to turn this off, so hopefully edit this off and just stop button. So we better not make sure we say anything too